Yeah, so I believe I found Arete Herbs on Instagram or Facebook or one of these social media that somebody local had posted about, and realizing it was a local company, always something I wanted to support. And then I signed up on the interest form online on the website a couple years ago. And I kept every cycle getting the invitation to fill out the application, and it hadn't been the right time in my life, but this time it was. So it was something I always knew I was going to do. So generally, I love the opportunity to get together with other people in my community who have similar interests. That's not always easy, especially just the busyness of life these days. And so I really appreciated the community and just having people to talk to about really interesting topics. And all of the hands-on project work, I really appreciated. I am a gardener somewhat and have been interested in herbalism for a long time. And it's one thing to read about how to do things, and it's something totally else to actually do it. I'm someone who learns by doing, so I just loved making things and getting our hands dirty, so to speak. Yeah, I would say anybody who's interested in, really having a hands-on experience of making products that you can make at home or that you could make into a small business, utilizing herbs and flowers and plants, and also, want some sense of community, then this is a really good way to combine those two things without having to, fly or travel or do like an intensive program. So it's a really nice mix and super doable. Cool. Definitely been delving into trying to figure out how to clean my house and do laundry in a more natural way that's also effective. So actually it was today's class where we made a cleaning product, but also had a discussion about what works and why, obviously some of the commercial cleaners aren't so great to be using, which, but getting to know more about the details on that and having the empowerment, because again, I've watched way too many Instagrams and TikToks about how to do it, but once you're, talking to people in a group about, learned experiences and actually making something yourself, it starts to feel more real. So I'm excited about really upgrading my laundry and home cleaning regimen using plants and using vinegars. I think vinegar, I have a whole new love of vinegar from this course. I want to be using it more for rinsing my hair and then my body and cleaning my home. So that was a really cool thing to learn.
So a friend of mine actually called and said, hey, next week this class is starting, and it was super last minute, and she and I talked about it, and we're both busy working moms, and there's always stuff to do, and there's a lot of times you just don't give yourself time to do something. So I said, you know what, this is a me thing. It's one day a month. And the topic, of course, herbalism always interested me. So both of us decided to take the class. So I'm a geologist and a scientist, and I always want to know the why and the how and the science and the physiology behind things. So what I really liked about this class is that you got all the science of it. And then it runs, 180 degrees to the more ethereal side of things. So it kind of has everything depending on what kind of person you are. And all of the projects are, very practical, I guess. I'm also if I'm going to make something, I want to be able to use it. I'm a functional person. So one of my favorite things was one of the first things that we learned to do, which was making shrub, which I've never heard of. It's super easy, so it doesn't take a lot of time, or you make it and you stick it in the fridge and it just sits. So it doesn't take a lot of time out of a busy day. It's delicious. It serves a purpose. So that was probably one of my favorite things. Yeah, the class is pricey, and the way I thought about it was, I'm not someone who spends money on getting my hair done or, getting my nails done, that kind of thing. So, and the class runs for, an entire year, I think, practically. So if you take that cost and you spread it over that time, and it's a lifetime of knowledge that you get. And a lot of people like myself learn better from listening and be able to ask questions. We can all go buy a book on herbalism, but I would never sit and read it and absorb the information. And you get a lot, just as much out of the people in the class that you're with, because everyone's coming from a different perspective and different background. And some people have a lot of this base knowledge, and I came in with nothing, but I feel like I'm leaving with a lot.
So I enjoy gardening, and I've expanded my herb garden over the years, especially during COVID. But then I kind of got to a point where I felt like I had more herbs and items and more bounty from my garden than I was actively using. So I started researching, ways online to use the different items that I was growing. And as I was researching, I was like, I'd love to take a class. I need to do something for myself, more often. And through that research, I found your class because it was one of the few local classes. And I wanted something that was in person to kind of get to know people in my community. And so it was just a good fit. And it was just funny because of timing. Literally, I signed up the night before the first class started. So it kind of was a little bit serendipity of deciding to, prioritize something for myself, find something local, and it was a great fit. So it was something that I've really enjoyed. These last 9 months have been fantastic, and it's been a really great experience. And I've used so much more, herbs from my garden, because I've been excited about being able to apply what I've been learning over these last couple months. So with the class, the instruction piece is always nice, and I like that Paula provided us the material to tell us what to read ahead of time, because I take time to process things. So if I'm reading something like in the moment, I'm not digesting it right away. So I liked having the ability to kind of read ahead and then come into the class and then have the discussion, because again, if something's not right in front of me, it doesn't always necessarily click. So having a little bit of institutional knowledge based on what I read before class was helpful. Then Paula provides us handouts in class, which is again something else in front of us to help me digest the material. And then really where I think the information kind of really sinking in was with the hands-on projects. And that's, if we're being honest, the fun stuff too, And so again, we're, kind of learning the background, applying it through the hands-on work, and then we have the information still at our fingertips to take home and apply down the road. So that suits well with my learning style and interest. And then in terms of projects that we made, I've experimented with making salves and things like that, just because I have, younger daughters and they love beauty products, and I'm like, that's cool. There's, benefits to a lot of things, but I don't want them putting a lot of chemicals and additional toxins on their skin and, in their body. So we kind of experimented that way a little bit, and this just brought it to a whole new level. It was more, more informative than just the fun experimentation. And some things that, to this day I'm still making on a regular basis that I've learned in class was shrubs. I had never heard of shrubs before this class, and now, being able to enjoy them, make them, expand my repertoire of non-alcoholic beverages that actually have health benefits, it's win-win-win. So it's been a good experience. So if you're on the fence about a course, I'd say prioritize yourself, because, I'm a mom. I'm seriously the bottom of the totem pole of priorities. And I made the leap of faith just to do this for myself, because I knew I was going to be getting out of my house for a defined amount of time, focusing on something that mattered to me and was enjoyable to me. So I say, prioritize yourself, do something for you for a change, because chances are you haven't been doing too much of that.
Always interested in gardening ever since I was a young child, and interested in Native Americans and history, and being also in the medical profession, interested in medicines, how they work, how they got medicines from plants and the nature around us. So it just kind of grew, and as I learned more, wanted to know more, and I guess I found you guys online, Facebook. You popped up, and the ad kept popping up, and I finally thought, well, I'm going to sign up for it because I had background knowledge of things that I'd read, but no real good hands-on. And so I guess also being the medical person, afraid to try things on my own and just jump in and do things. So this seemed like a perfect opportunity to get hands-on experience making elixirs, making salves and balms and things like that, so that I felt more comfortable using the herb and some of the knowledge and gaining more knowledge, because starting this class I realized how little I actually knew. I think Paula's fabulous. She's a wealth of knowledge and blends it in, not only about the herbalism, but about the human body. And wrapping it all together, I thought, was one of the best aspects of the class. It's hard to say what one single project that we did stood out, because they were all good in different ways. I liked being able to forage plants from my own backyard. It was really cool. And using it when I had a sinus infection and having it work really well, and not running to the drugstore to try and find something when there's nothing there right now because everyone's sick. And having the confidence to do that was really cool. I would do it. I would definitely take the class. Actually, I wish there was another one to follow this, because I've enjoyed it so much. I've learned a lot. And I was saying that I really enjoy the community, meeting the other students, finding out that friends ran into a friend here who was in my class, and didn't know that she was going to be taking the class was kind of cool. But just there's such a wonderful sense of community.
Well, I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm looking to expand my knowledge of herbal-based functional medicine. And I had some friends that took the course from, I think it was just last session, and I liked the small feel of it, something that it's always been very comfortable to come here, and not, intimidating, coming from more of a medical background than from, some sort of, earth-based background. So I've always been interested in alternative medicine, and but just the way my career took me, it was very, very medical, and very for a while. I love the location. Like, it's small, it's comfortable. I liked the background that I do get caught up on a lot of very specific things, what is for what, and I liked that the program was more broad in the sense that it's more of a background, and you can take away what you want from it. I don't really have like a specific thing that we made. I mean, it was great to get some like hands-on experience with touching and smelling and tasting. But I remember Paula saying, I want you to walk around and not just see everything as green. And I do that all the time now. And I used to think that I appreciated how everything fit in the world and how everything worked together. But now I feel like I do more so, because you just feel more connected to your surroundings. I would say do it if it's something that you're interested in. Honestly, there's no pressure. There's no, it almost, just even today, it became more of like a self-care type of thing. Like, this is something that you're interested in, something that you're learning, something that you can slow down and, kind of take time to look at something you're interested in and really make it meaningful.
Yeah, I wanted to get into herbalism to kind of build on my training as a professional gardener, and I wanted to kind of shift it and change it into something that's a little more practical for my day-to-day life. And I had talked to, some friends, and they recommended different courses, and nothing really had that heart that I was looking for and that interpersonal connection. So when I was just flipping through Instagram one day, and I followed this Instagram, and I can't remember where I found this one, but I was flipping through Instagram and saw the program, and I was like, that's what I want. In person, with people, close, and it's content oriented. And then I also love the flip side of it too, where we're actually making things to go home, because I need that hands-on practicality experience. So that's immediately what took me, and I was like, oh, it's right up the road for me. It's not too far. I'm familiar with, the company, I'm familiar with the area. So it was just serendipity. I loved most about the course the materials that Paula would present in class. The handouts that she would give us was so beneficial, because I learned that way, I'm somebody who needs to have a conversation with somebody. So Paula being there and being able to give that information firsthand, where I can immediately ask a question if I need to, that was one of my favorite parts. And then just the stuff that I got to take home, whether that's the handouts and the materials or the actual projects that we made. And with the projects, going through the steps in real time is so beneficial, because it really cements that hands-on learning experience. And I loved it. And I mean, one of my favorite projects was the turmeric golden tea, and I still have jars of it at home because I love it so much, and make little bits and hand them out to your friends, so just having the hands-on experience is hugely incredible, and Paula's been so great. It's a lot of bang for your buck, the best part about it for me was, if I needed to, I could pay for it in installments, and I mean, price is the biggest hurdle for something like this, because you don't know the quality of what you're getting. And so I love the installment payments. That was amazing. So maybe consider that as an option. But I mean, ultimately you come in and you're getting information, but you're also taking things home. So you are paying for a physical product as well as an education. And just the quality of materials and the wealth of information that this class provides is just absolutely worth every penny.
And my friends knew that I was interested in it, so somebody sent me a link to the herbalism class here, and it was 2 days prior to the class starting, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, this is so out of my comfort zone, so I decided to take a leap, and I leapt into a great class. It's wonderful. Learned a lot. It's been exciting. I'm glad I did it. I'm sorry that it's over. I'd like to continue. Well, I really liked the class with Paula teaching. She's a great instructor. She gives a lot of information that I felt very comfortable with her. She made it easy to learn. The things that I learned, I'm interested in taking that further and trying to make my own concoctions. I've bought some herbs of my own so that I can practice what I've learned in the class. The classes I felt they weren't overly long, even though it was a 4-hour class. I thought that the timing was great. It was long enough to get some information in, but not too long that you started to get tired of it. So I thought that the 4 hours was really good timing. I liked that it was a monthly class, and I did enjoy having the monthly herbs. Although I didn't get to do all the herbs every month, I did really like having to research, well, not research, but try to figure out some things with trying to find it, learning what things that it can do for me, tasting it, mixing it into teas or whatever I was doing with it, sleeping with it. I like those things. All the projects we did were a lot of fun and well instructed. Everything was really a good time. Everybody was nice. I liked the class size was perfect. Not too many people. Everybody got to know one another. It was really nice. Good time together. Very informative. I kind of had to swallow a little bit, but after being here and seeing all the things that we take home, I get why the price is the price, and it's worth every penny. It really truly is. You get a lot of product to take home. There's a lot of herbs that cost a lot of money that I've learned over buying my own herbs from different places. It's expensive. It's expensive hobby, if you will, to get into, but I'm hoping it's not just a hobby, that it'll become a lifetime thing for me. And I feel like the more I do this, I feel that it will become more of a life thing. But if anybody wants to do it, I'd say go for it. It's well worth the money, and it's well worth your time.
So I have always loved plants, but I always came to plants from like making things look beautiful. And then I began feeding animals and myself with plants and got into the herbs. And from the herbs, realized all the different qualities that they have that they can help heal us. So that's what brought me to herbalism. And this class just happened to pop up on my Facebook feed, and I said, why not? So there was no direct, I didn't put a lot of thought into it. I was just like, yes. So the whole picture, whole experience, I think it was really nice just getting together with like-minded people and the sense of community. And I really liked making the salve. It sounds silly, but I used it, it worked, and then I gave it to someone else to use, and it worked, and I'm going to make more salve. I like the idea of salves. In person, there's a whole nother level of learning. Like I said, building community, but there's also the experience of hands-on making things, which you don't get out of a book or an online experience.
I have been looking into herbalism for probably like 7-ish years now, and I've taken several online courses, but I really wanted to do like something in person, hands-on, and I think Lauren and I were following each other on Instagram, and then I had seen her advertise for this class, so I knew I definitely wanted to do it. I really like, honestly, all the projects. I don't think I could choose one specific one. There was such a variety, so it was really fun to experiment with the different things. Everyone that I met here is super nice, super friendly, very supportive of each other, and the setting is just so peaceful and calm and beautiful. It's a really great setting. If you're on the fence about joining this class, I would say to just go for it. I think it's a great price, and it's been fun to come once a month and see everyone and do the projects and learn and talk about things. So I think it's definitely something you should try.
So I have just become more interested in natural health in general. I love plants, and just the direction of the medical establishment over the last couple of years has become alarming to me, and I want to know how to help care for my children and my family with what's around me. What do I need to have in my yard to be more sustainable as a family? And then I must have clicked on herbal something, and a video popped up from Arete, and I loved the concept of it. I think I saw a video and knew I wanted to be a part of it. So looked at something that was an online only class and decided that wasn't the thing for me. I wanted to do the experiments, just an easy way to break into a field that can be completely overwhelming. I don't know where to start, so this is a really, really great start. So there was so much content provided that I could have taken a deep dive or just stayed on the surface. I intended to take a deep dive, but life kind of went topsy-turvy this year. So I was still able to get a lot out of just a smattering of experiments and kind of direction to go in the future. So my favorite thing was the experiments, making things, so it's less intimidating to do things in the future. I would say do it. You're not going to regret it. You're going to try things you wouldn't try otherwise. You're going to get more of a foundation of knowledge for the body, the systems, the way they work, and then just plants that are all around us that you can not use, that are beneficial for your life.
I actually saw an advertisement probably a year and a half or so ago, and I thought about taking the last course. And then I had a friend who was thinking about with me, and it just didn't work out for her. So I put it on the back burner. And then when the opportunity came up again, and actually my friend Jess said, hey, you want to go to this class with me? I knew it was the right time. And so I think I've always been interested in what do the plants do for us. I'm somebody who wants to learn more always, but then also just as much as I can do naturally, I like to do. I have looked online. I've done some online classes before, but live classes, being in person, is 100 times better than learning something from a book or taking an online class. There's something about the energy when you're with people. It changes it completely. And that was really the determining factor. I think I was a little bit surprised, pleasantly so, that it wasn't just here's an herb, here's what it does, and then now you know what it is, and then you move on to the next one. It wasn't a list of things to memorize. It was more, okay, here's some things that we can use, and here's ways that we can use them. And it was something that was practical knowledge that I could transfer by picking up a book and saying, okay, this herb is something that would be helpful for someone with a specific condition, or, if I have a cough or if I have an issue. So it was knowledge that would transfer. And I would say that probably my favorite project was, it sounds kind of weird, but we did the digestive bitters. But because during that time, it was the summertime, and I went out, and probably in that month, I made 3 or 4 different tinctures. Because of what I had learned making the bitters, it kind of gave me the motivation, and I found these fresh plants growing that I wanted to make tinctures with. And I think that was my favorite. I think doing a live class, I already mentioned that, but doing a live class is going to be over and above doing anything online. The experience of meeting other people, working with other people, having an instructor that you can ask the questions of, that is invaluable. I would also say, if you think about the cost, breaking it down per class is actually very reasonable when you think about that. And if it were me doing it again, just having the option of, just being in a beautiful space. The place that we were meeting is gorgeous and welcoming, and it just made, Mondays once a month a fun experience.
Okay, hi, my name's Ashley. I am a DIY herbalism student. This class has been fantastic. I can't imagine not having taken this class, and the 9 months really flew by too. I definitely liked the experiments probably the most, but everything was really well balanced, I think, with experiments, but class time where we're learning about different systems in the body and how each herb works with other parts of our bodies and stuff. So I feel like I learned so much in such a short period of time. And yeah, like I said, I really can't imagine having not taken this class, because I've really learned so much, and it's been really nice. So I'm super grateful just to have found this. I feel like it came to me at the right time, and now I feel like the door is kind of opening up for me to do my own experiments and just keep learning on my own. I'm now spending my Friday nights researching herbs, which is something that I never thought that I would do before. And I think this class has also really built my confidence in being able to talk about this kind of stuff with friends and family, and just in general. it's helped me out a lot with that kind of stuff too. So I just really loved this environment, this whole space and everything too. And like I said, like it's come to me at such a right like time in my life where I was really figuring things out for myself. And the 9 months flew by. Like I got a new job, I'm moving, like so many like transitional things happened for just me during this like time period too. And having this community, I think, is what has made it so nice. Before I even found this class, I was in a pretty bad place, like in my job, and like was working from home and like in a bad environment kind of thing too. I'm giving you way too many details, but I feel like I need to explain. And I started like discovering herbalism as like a way to connect deeper with nature and like kind of dig deeper into like my spiritual beliefs and stuff too. So finding this class and making all of those changes in my life just all were like, it all coincided so beautifully and like so well. So I'm just grateful. I think that it's so worth it to put in all of the time. Like you really need the 4-hour class, that meets monthly, because you get so much out of it. And honestly, at some points you want it to be longer. I think too. So I think it's worth the like investment for the community aspect of it, for just how much you learn in such a short period of time. And I don't know. I just think it's just been great.
I'm Casey. I am a student in Arete's herbal program. We are just wrapping up, and it was such an incredible program. Paula is super knowledgeable. We had so much fun. The DIY part was probably my favorite. Hands-on learner, and it was really fun to just create things together. The little community of women that we gathered for our class was incredible. And I just loved getting my hands on the herbs and getting to know them that way. And then breaking them down kind of by body area was really awesome for me too. So just learning different body areas and the herbs that support them. It was a really profound program for me. My most favorite project that we had made together as a class was the oxymel. It's something that I've continued to make in so many different variations. It's an infusion of honey and vinegar, and really the options are endless. So that's probably my favorite project that we created, because I use it for so many different things, and there are so many different plants that you can put in there. If you are considering taking this program, I would highly recommend it. The empowering part of getting outside and learning some of the plants that are around us that we can use in a medicinal way was very cool. And it is super helpful to have a community of people that, I can go back and I can reference with. And we've kind of created these relationships that I now have a resource in Arete and in Paula that I can go back and, ask questions and, dive a little deeper.
My name is Amber. This is my first time taking a herbalism course at Arete. I really enjoyed it. The infused honeys, the ground ivy tincture, that was a really special project for me, because it's a product that worked instantly for me. After I strained it with my cheesecloth and tried it, it definitely drained my ear right away. Yeah, because I had many issues with ear infections and drainage and the whole 9 with that, so it was very helpful, that ground ivy tincture. Take it. Paula was just amazing instructor, great energy, awesome person, and Lauren was so welcoming with us coming here. Just do it, dive in, and I'm just excited. Like, this has opened like a new chapter for me, and I'm just excited to keep learning and keep experimenting and, going forward with herbalism and in business, So, yeah.
Okay, hi, I'm Cindy Chamberlain. I was in this winter's DIY herbalism class, and today's our last day, and how sad are we? So I would so encourage anybody who loves plants, who's curious about plants, who likes taking a walk in nature and looking down and seeing a plant and thinking to yourself, I wonder why this plant's around, I would highly encourage you to sign up for this course, because you're going to love it. And you're going to learn so much about what to do with this stuff. Like, that's been my thing. Like, what do I do with dandelion other than, pick it and, eat it? But I didn't know what to do with the flowers. I didn't know what to do with the roots. And so many things you're going to learn about. So my daughter's in a 4-year program, and they didn't even learn to make oxymel. So oxymels and shrubs to me are like changed my life. So that's all we talk about now. Everything I look at, I'm like, I can make an oxymel with that. Oh, I have some blueberries left over, and I have some ginger. Oh, that sage is going to blossom outside. Let me go grab those flowers. So yeah, oxymels and shrubs. I would say, are you curious? Do you have any curiosity? Sign up, because it is for everybody. Like, even if you walk away and you think, I'm only going to learn to make tea, I'm going to change my view on tea. Like today, I brought in a nettle that we found foraging, and I'm like, oh, I have some hibiscus and I have some lemon balm. Poof, there it is. There's my tea for today. And then you're like, oh, it's going to be great because it's very, stimulating and cleaning. And you're going to be like, yeah, I know how to do that now.
Okay. Hi, I'm Susie DeGeorge, and I'm part of the Arete's DIY herbalist class from September through the spring, which was an interesting time to do this because a lot of the plants that we used were either dying out or just coming out. The thing I liked best about this class was all the practical applications. I enjoyed learning about the different body systems and the functionality of them. So the knowledge level was pretty deep in some cases, but then the application of the different herbs to help those systems, strengthen those systems, combat some different ailments of those systems, I think was really great. And a lot of this stuff is easy to find. It's in your yard. A lot of it's in your yard. Paula did a very knowledgeable teacher and always answered questions that we had. It was just a great class. Probably one of my favorite projects was things that I would use on a regular basis. The infused honeys. Today we did infused wines, which I think will be great. But anxious to the one thing that was the best thing that I made was my ground clover, my ground ivy tincture, which was our first project, and yes, it does. Clears up a yucky nose and a mucousy chest. I would say if you want to really learn something that you've never thought would interest you, that you should take it, because like I said, there's so many practical applications, and when you realize how easy herbs can help you feel better and do better, that knowledge base will swing you right over the edge.
I really enjoyed the hands-on process because I love learning about herbs, but very rarely will I take the time to try these recipes on my own, and I'm always worried about getting it wrong. So this was a really great introduction to just that whole process and getting to try some things. Some of them I'll probably try again on my own. I also really love just getting to know what some of the native plants are around here and learning what ground ivy looks like in the fall and what it looks like in the spring and its uses. And I love learning about all the indigenous native plants that we have. So getting to take a hands-on local class was really perfect. It's what I'd been looking for. So I definitely would do it again. And I hope to see a level 2 or a continuation. The class was great. The place is great. Instructor's great. The students was great. It was all good. I would highly recommend it. Actually, I never knew about shrubs, so when we made the whole shrubs before the holiday, I found myself like Googling like shrubs and then looking up all these different shrubs, and I actually like went and bought all these shrubs so I could make like holiday cocktails. It was really cool. I didn't know about them, so yeah, we definitely have shrubs added to our house now as a result of this class. And I'm excited to try some of the other
things that we've made. I actually do regularly try all the stuff that we've made, so we'll keep doing that. It was fun. I think for most people, they're hesitant to take a class like this because they're worried, I don't know, that maybe they won't know what they're talking about or it's maybe new, but this is a really comfortable, easy environment to learn in, and it's just, I'm trying to think the best way to describe it, but it's very, like, comfortable isn't exactly what I mean, but it's just so welcoming. It's just a really great introduction so that regardless of what level you're at, and I really think in this class we have people who've never come across anything to people who, you know, have made some of these things themselves, and regardless of the level you wouldn't know because there's always something to learn and it feels like a really very welcoming environment. So if anyone's on the fence about trying something, this is really a great intro. It really is a great intro to all things herbal.
I came across it on Facebook and I was kind of like interested. I thought the advertisement of it at first, I had seen one of these testimonials and I had listened to the girls and I was like, wow, that seems pretty interesting. And then it kept coming up and it kept coming up and I was like, So I did a little research and then I had actually went online and then I took a trip over to Farm & Co. and I saw your stuff. And then it was like the day before the deadline and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And I didn't bring a friend, I just signed up and it was awesome because you guys offered a payment plan. So I was able to budget and make the payment plan each month. So that was really helpful. I, for one, am more for in-person. Coming out of COVID, I think that was just hard for everybody. I have 4 children and they were all at home in school. I wanted to get away from the screens. I wanted to get away from the computers. So actually knowing that there were textbooks that were required and alternative things to do, just being in person, getting to see people, having my instructor in person, somebody that I could talk to and ask questions about, hands-on doing, picking things out of the garden, taking walks, learning how to just breathe and do intentional things, that was really exciting for me. Don't second guess it, just do it. It definitely, like, I don't want the class to be over. I'm really sad. It's not just about a certificate. It's a life change. It really opened my eyes to, you know, it's not just a bumblebee. It's not just a weed in the plant. It's, you know, it's an herb. It can help cure things. You can use it so many different ways. You know, I've learned how to make face mask out of used tea bags and clean stinky cleats. So it's definitely a class that I recommend everybody try, of all ages.
I've been looking for a class like this for a while because not particularly this kind of class, but I've just wanted to dive deeper into like how to take care of myself, like heal my body, just with all the processed foods and this and that out there. And just seeing like the American diet and the foods that we buy in the store and how they're hurting our bodies basically. I wanted to find out like what's good and what's bad, and I didn't know like where to turn really. So when I came across this class, I came across on Facebook, I decided, I knew it was a lot of money and and that was kind of like, oh, but it was over the course of 9 months and I got way more out of this class than I ever imagined. I love sitting down and just like hearing all the knowledge that Paula has. I've learned so much from her. I'd say if you're on the fence about this class, like if you really want to learn about this stuff, this class is a great gateway into, you get a little bit of each subject. So like maybe you want to learn about your immune system or you want to learn about your digestive system. It's going to be a deep conversation and learning a little bit about each thing, but it is like a deep dive each month into each subject. I really like the vitamins that we did. We did like cooked down herbs into a multivitamin and they're delicious. I take them every day. So I loved being in person because I learned a lot from Paula, but I learned so much from the people that I was taking the class with that was on the same level as me, or maybe someone knew more about something else, or this person referred a doctor to me. That did happen. I got a doctor. One of the other students referred me to a doctor in the class that I ended up going to see. They also have, I've like gotten to know like different like stores and stuff, or where to buy this or that, you know, because like one thing that Paula says is you don't have to like know everything about each herb, but if you know a good bit about 3 of them or 5 of them, then you're doing a good job. So maybe your friend knows something a lot. Like, I've learned a lot from the people in class, and just the relationships that I built have been really cool. 'Cause I even got a job from somebody, so that's pretty cool in the class. Yeah, that's it.
I'm Annette. I started with the class in September, Monday mornings, and it's been a fabulous class. I absolutely loved every class. Paula is amazing. The girls that I've met here have been fantastic, and all the projects that we've done, I can't pick one that I like the best because they're all so different and so good. So I have nothing but 5 stars for all of it. It was great. Okay, one of my favorites was the adaptogen tea that we made. And then we just made the herb wines today, so that's another good favorite. It's hard to say, there's so many good ones. The different foods that we made, the fermented cabbage, the ground ivy, the infused honeys. They're all good. I can't, it's too hard to pick one. I was really happy to see that it was going to be in person. I didn't want to take an online class. I like hands-on. I want to be there. I want to smell it. I want to look at it. I want to touch it. So the fact that it was in person and then there were several options to take the class, Monday mornings worked for me. So the 9 to 1 signed up, and that was great. That worked the best. So definitely happy that you could take different classes. Like if you couldn't go that Monday, then you could go on the Sunday. So very open, very easy, great options to be able to get all the classes in. I found the class on Facebook and I saw it and I read about it and I thought, this sounds pretty interesting. I think I'd like to learn. And then I roped my girlfriend into it and I said, come on, let's go take this class. And she said, okay. So we had no expectation, or very low expectation, and have been very pleasantly surprised at how well run, and all the knowledge that we've learned, and just the camaraderie of everybody, and just great time.
So when I originally saw this class online, my mom had showed me, and she was very excited about it, and I was a little hesitant because I was like, I don't know, it seems like a lot of money for me to pay because I'm just out of college, and I thought, you know what, let's just do it. I think it'll be worth it, and it was absolutely worth it. I'm so glad that I just made the decision to do it, and it really, having the payment plan too wasn't bad at all, and just being here with, in the environment, every setting that we were in was absolutely gorgeous, and that made it even better for me, honestly. And on top of that, I got to meet so many great people. I got to learn so many new things. I am a very hands-on learner, and getting to actually make things and see how it's made and bring home samples like that to me was so worth it, especially because now I am able to just do it. Like, I don't have to go and look up a YouTube tutorial or anything like that. I just, I see it once and I know. So for me, that's like the biggest thing. And trying to learn it on my own at home through reading books. Yes, you get a good understanding of it, but being able to do it with other people, it really makes it worthwhile. It makes the understanding a little bit more concrete when you finally are doing it. So I really think that this was worth it in every way. I was really hoping to get was just a better understanding of herbalism itself, because I've always been really interested in plants. I mentioned earlier that I have a degree in botany. So the real deep aspects of plants themselves, I have an understanding of that, but how to use them in, the medical field, how to use them at home, how to use them in cooking, like that kind of stuff I wasn't really familiar with. So that's really what my goal was, to kind of just have a better understanding of how to use them in different ways. And I feel like I absolutely got that from this class. I started with one small handheld manual, and now I have a whole stack of books So it's really fun to just learn new things. I think I was most excited to learn about skincare and how to use herbs in skincare, because I have always been really into that stuff. I don't know, I just always found it really interesting. I guess I just have really sensitive skin, so none of the like over-the-counter stuff really worked well for me. And I feel like since I've learned about how to make certain skincare products with herbs and herbal remedies, I've had a great turnover from that, and I feel like my skin is 100% better than what it was before, and I'm really happy with that. And I'm sharing my knowledge with others and my friends and family. I'm like, try this, I'll give you samples, here's the recipe, like make it at home. It's awesome. I think one of my favorite projects definitely was making Rosemary's Miracle Grains, because that was one of the skincare projects that really fit well with my skincare routine, and I use it every day, every single day, and I love it so much. I've made it so many times now, like I go through it so quickly. And I think making the bitters too, because for me I have a lot of digestive problems, so the digestive bitters have definitely helped, and the fire cider as well. Like that kind of stuff is just, integrating those things into my routine have helped me so much. And I feel like I want to share that with everybody else who they come to me with these questions, and I feel like I'm in my friend group or my community now. I feel like I'm the go-to person for herbal knowledge, for my coworkers, my family, anyone who has questions about stuff. Like, can I use this plant for this thing? I'm like, absolutely. You can also use it for this or this. So I definitely enjoy being a resource for others as well, now that I have a better understanding of what I'm doing. And there's still so much that I have to learn, and very excited to continue buying the books and going to more sessions and talks and things like that, and learning more.
Definitely do it. Just do it. Just take it. In person is really the best way to learn, hands-on. I've done both. This is my third in-person class. I took an online herb class. It's just not the same. You just don't get the same thing out of an online course. It's good, but it's just, you get so much more than you think you would if you do it hands-on. You retain the information better. By doing the projects yourself, you retain all of that so much more than you would just following a recipe in a book. So I say definitely, if you're on the fence, do it hands down. Paula's the best teacher for that. The class we did today was making mustard, which I thought was really cool. The concept of bringing more herbs into like a culinary experience, into everyday like usage, instead of having to make something in particular, like a particular medicine. I thought it was just kind of cool. You can just add in, drink some herbal tea, eat some herbal mustard. So that was really fun. I liked the beauty powder that we made, the facial cleaner. I thought that was really fun. I just liked the hands-on experience with everybody as a group. I think that's what I got mostly out of it. Wasn't just one thing in particular, it was the whole thing, and sharing it together and learning from each other. And Paula is such a great teacher, and she's really supportive of guiding you through all of the work, the homework, and the experiments, because it can feel overwhelming, but when you're doing it in person, it was really a supportive environment, and it was great.
So I've always been interested in plants, but I was looking to learn like more practical ways of how to incorporate them into like daily life and healthy living, and how to like use them to help manage like everyday stress and stuff. So that's what I was really hoping to get out of the class, and I learned a lot of different ways to incorporate herbs into things that you put on your skin, and different just Paula was really good about the movement part too, which I wasn't expecting that, but just learning how to do movement exercises and be mindful with the plants, and even just yummy things like making mustard and drinks and stuff like that. I think the first aid was really cool because that's a super practical part, and then doing the fun things like the herbal infused wines was really fun because that's a way to surprise your friends at a party with a little twist on just an average wine, just spice it up with some herbs and stuff. So that was really cool. I would say just do it. like you as a person are worth it, and like your interests, and the hands-on, and like being able to interact with the herbs like face to face, and you know, being sent home with them each month and spending time with them was like a really great way to cement like some of the things that we were learning. And because I know there's like a lot of competition with like online stuff, but for me, like I'm a very hands-on, like visual, and that's how like I retain the information. So especially because I feel like there's a lot of information out there, so it was nice to have a teacher kind of like guide you through it and go through like the different aspects of everything. And so that was really important. So if you're thinking about it, just do it. It's awesome.